I think it's been a while since we've been here, at least since I've been here. It's November 14th. It's my partner's, Steve Frankel's, birthday today. And I make a bracha to him. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shakol niyeh b'dvorei.
Amen. Amen. How old is he now, 65?
Well, I'll tell you off camera how old he is. I'm sure he doesn't want me to announce it. I got an email a couple of days ago, which on its surface is a little disturbing, but actually it should not be, and I'll tell you what it was about in a minute. But in general, we have in America the concept of separating church and state, that the government doesn't mix with religion, and freedom of this and freedom of that. But the truth of the matter is that we live in a democratic society, and the Constitution of the United States is based on a Judeo-Christian concept, but don't ever confuse it with being in line with everything with the Torah. There are many things in our country which is not according to the Torah. And while it may be good for America, it's not good for the Jew. And I'll give you a few examples of that. There's some that people don't really think about. Let's take, for an example, something very basic. In America, we have the concept of freedom of speech. Okay? We can say anything we want. As long as we don't slander somebody, we can say anything we want. In the Torah, of course.
You could curse them?
What?
You could curse?
You can curse. You can tell somebody, I think you're the biggest, SOB. You can.
No, let's say you're a police officer. If you curse them, they would.
Well, a police officer falls into a different category, so I'm not sure.
I'm thinking because I had things happen to me last week.
You cursed one out last
No, I didn't. I just want to know if you cursed them, they could arrest you for
They could arrest you for verbally assaulting an officer.
For public disturbance or something.
They'll come up with something. But in general, I'm allowed to make fun of somebody. I'm allowed to embarrass somebody. If you embarrass somebody, according to halacha, you don't have a cheluk, you don't have a portion in the world to come. It's very big. Lashon hara. There are dozens of TV stations which all it is based on gossip, on lashon hara, on idle chatter. That concept is against the Torah. We have in this week's parsha there is no law against lying in the United States. Somebody asked me, where'd you get this coffee? And now I know I got it from 7-Eleven. I can say I went to Starbucks this morning. I filled up my 7-Eleven cup, and I paid $11 for this.
As far as it doesn't hurt anybody else.
Yeah, you're allowed to lie. There's no law against it. You can be caught red-handed lying. Nothing wrong with that.
You can't do it under oath.
You can't do it under oath because you're not allowed to swear falsely, but you're allowed to lie. I'm allowed to lie that I once swore falsely.
Let's say in court.
Cute, Mendy. Cute.
Oh, it's cute. Yeah. Okay, got that word
court,
in today.
If you lie...
If you're swearing that you're going to tell the truth and you don't, then there's a law on the books. It's called perjury. But that's only when you're under oath and you're in court of law or any place else that you are under oath. So we have the story of Yaakov and Yitzchak trying to get the blessings of Esav, and everybody knows the story that Yaakov got dressed in Esav's clothing, and he went to his father and he says, "Bless me," and the father says, "You sound like Jacob, but when I touch your hands, it's like Esav." So what does Yaakov answer him? V'yomer lo Yitzchak Avi,
Yaakov.
mi ata. Who are you? I'm confused. Who are you? So he answers, Vayomer, he said, Ani, I am, Bincha, your son, Bechorcha, your firstborn Esav. So
That also doesn't make sense.
this seems like a big lie, right?
No, it's not a lie.
Why?
Ani Bechorcha, and Ani Yaakov, okay?
Ani Bincha,
Bincha, finish the sentence.
Right.
Bechorcha.
Esav.
But you want to say Bechorcha Esav. Okay, he didn't lie.
Okay, so
But also he lied because he bought the Bechorah from him.
okay, well he bought it, so he was allowed to have it. But Benny gave the answer. The traditional answer is that that Yaakov put a comma in, and he says, his father asked him, "Who are you?" And he says, "Ani bincha, I am your son." Comma, b'chorcha Esav, your firstborn is Esav. So we see how we strain ourselves, and we try to figure out a way how we could justify the Torah writing something that Yaakov said that it's not a lie. If this was an English book of some sort, a secular book, what's the problem? See a lie. I mean, that's part of the game in life. We call them white lies and big lies and this and that. I mean, everybody.
In a situation like this, I don't see any problem to lie. Let's say I heard about a ship coming from Germany going to America, time of Hitler, World War II. And they got stopped by another ship. They said, who are you? They said, we are, they came up with the story to save their life.
Well, to save your life is something else.
This is more than saving life.
Okay, so of course there are many answers that they give why he was allowed to lie.
The biggest blessing in the world you're going to get from Israel. Of course, if the blessing would go to Israel...
Morning, Bruce.
If the blessing would go to Esav, what would happen to Jewish nation?
Exactly. So
you had all the lie to get the blessing.
So sometimes there's justification for lying. You have to be very careful with that, because lying is the only thing out of all the 613 commandments. Lying has something which no other prohibition has.
Distance yourself.
Very good. Ari is correct. It says you should distance yourself from lying. Not only, it doesn't say anywhere, it says don't eat pork, don't eat chazer. It doesn't say distance yourself from chazer. You can be right next to it, you can hold it in your hand, and you can smell it. But you can't eat it. But lying, don't even come close to it.
No, listen, let's say I go home. I go home tonight, and I know my wife doesn't like that I should eat in a restaurant.
Right.
And I go home and I said, "Are you hungry?" I said, "Of course." If I say I went to a restaurant and I had a nice steak, she would slaughter me.
Right. So for shalom bayis, there are times that you
There's
can
a lot
lie.
of things that
You can lie for shalom bayis. You
I
can
must
lie
lie.
not to cause somebody stress. But you have to be careful with it, because if you get into a habit of always lying,
No, it's going to be a big war.
Right.
So you just want to eliminate.
So even
with you.
even Hashem, for the purposes of peace, has changed around. We had that in last week's parsha, when Sarah, or 2 weeks ago, when Sarah was laughing and says, "How am I going to have a baby that my husband is so old?" And then God, when he repeated the story to Abraham, says, "Your wife says, how am I going to have a baby that I am so old?" He didn't want to cause problems. That's Sarah called him an old man.
So you see, maybe possibility that
But nevertheless. So I got this email. Like another thing, we have a Constitution of the United States that all men are created equal, and that men and women are of equal status. That's not correct, and that is actually, I think, a very big problem. Men and women are not equal. They're not equal physically, and they're not equal emotionally, and they're not equal in any ways. And we try so hard in this country to make them equal. They each have their strengths. I'm not saying that men are better than women. By no means am I saying that. but they each have their strengths and weaknesses. Each have their functions, their purpose, the reason why they were put on the planet.
A man cannot give birth.
Right,
Die.
and here in America, we're trying to find different ways that we can equalize them to the point where now it used to be a bride and a groom, and now there's already, a man can be a bride. So we have this sick notion that we have to equalize them, and it's not the case. I mean, the Torah, if you notice, this week's parsha again, Ela told us Yitzchak. This is good morning. This is the son. Ela told us Avram rather. Avram told us Yitzchak. Avram gave birth to Yitzchak. All over the Torah we see the names of people and the names of their fathers. Almost never do you see the name of the mother. Now, why is that? Why don't they mention the mother's name? Who the mother was? So, the obvious answer is because the mother is never in question. We always know who the mother is. We're not always sure who the father is, so that's why the Torah enumerates and articulates who the father is. But I'm thinking that the mother is very secure. In the same vein, a mother is very secure. Her purpose in life, her function. She's the one that gave birth, and she's there and caring for her child, and that is sort of like a given. The Torah does not have to say that. That's an automatic. The father is not always in the picture. The father is sometimes, he's many times not there at the birth, and is absent for whatever. So the Torah makes him feel comfortable and puts the father in the picture. The mother, the Torah doesn't have to put into the picture. So let me tell you about this email that I got. I got an email. I actually should have have a pen and a paper so I can show you these things. I got an email from somebody who listens to my shiur, and hears me speak in other places as well, and says, I really enjoy your shiur, and you're funny, you tell over stories, but we have this concept in America that Don Rickles, you heard of Don Rickles? Yeah, he's a comedian. He's
mean.
Huh?
The king of mean.
The king of mean, but he's also a very big name dropper. When he will talk, he'll always talk about. He'll get it in there. He has to drop movie stars' names. He says, "Last week I remember this is many years ago. Frank Sinatra was the big guy. He would say, Frank and I this, and then he'd tell a story. And I was over with the president this week, and he put that in every joke. Had nothing to do with the people involved, but he just always dropped that person's name. I used to drive me nuts, and it's not really a nice thing to do, is to always drop names. So he says to me, this email tells me, Mendy, you're a big name dropper, and it's sort of beneath you. Like you keep doing that. When you repeat something, you say the Vilna Gaon says this, and the Rambam says this, and the Ramban says this, and your Rabbi Weiss said this, and when you went to Telz Yeshiva, you heard this, and you're showing off, like you know all these things, you know all these rabbis, you know all these books, like you're very, you come across like a big shot. It's like some. So. Here again, so I'm really talking to this person that sent me the email. Here again, not only is it different than in regular life, that we shouldn't really do things that make us come across as conceited, but we have an obligation to. We must do that. And let me just get a sitter for a second. Okay, we have what they call Pirkei Avos. Everybody knows what that is, right? Mm-hmm. The chapters of the Father, the ethics of our Father, and hopefully I can get to it very quickly without wasting too much time. It says over here, gosh. It says there are 48 ways to acquire the Torah. Wish I could find it quickly. There are 48 ways that we can acquire Torah. And it lists all 48 ways. And it goes through the list. Of course, because I'm looking for it, I can't find it. Let's see. I'll do it a little slower. Maybe I'll find it.
Which perek is it?
I thought it was the last one. Okay, here, I got it. Got it. Okay. It says that it talks about the Torah can be acquired with 48 ways, and it lists all 48 ways. It starts off, you can acquire it with studying, with being attentive and listening, with modesty, with joy, with purity, with closeness with your colleagues, with sharp discussions, with deliberation, with learning scripture, learning Mishnah. And then it goes that you should limit your business activity, you should limit your sexual activity, you should limit your pleasure, limit your sleep, limit your conversations, limit laughter, don't be so quick to get angry, have a good heart. And it goes through 48 attributes how you can acquire Torah. The last one of the 48 is, and you should repeat things in the name of the one who said it. I mean, this is 140, because whoever does that, whoever repeats something in the name of the one who said it, will bring the redemption to the world. And the proof it brings is from Esther and Mordechai from Purim. It says, "Vatomer Esther lamelach b'shem Mordechai." And Esther repeated to the king in the name of Mordechai and told the king so and so, and that's how the whole thing evolved, and that's how the Jews got saved at that time in Persia. Iran. Parasumodai. Right. Iran. I said Iran. Yeah. So we see how important it is to repeat things. So if I heard something, from a personality, I have to sit here and I have to repeat it in that person's name, and not be concerned that now somebody's going to interpret that I'm showing off that I know this and this.
Also could be a different way, because if you say yourself, they might say it is from you. Also, you show that it's not me.
Not me.
That could be a lie.
That could be a lie. So here it's very important to repeat things in the name. Okay.
This is when you studied this with Don Ripple's lecture.
Now, I just want to tell you that when you repeat things to from somebody else, it's interesting that we have to be very careful. Repeating things is lashon hara also. Like somebody once says, I don't like to repeat lashon hara, so make sure you hear it the first time I say it. So we can't repeat lashon hara, but we could repeat what we heard, something that's good. And not coincidentally, as I always say, the proof that it brings us from Esther. Esther is, the numerical value of Esther is 661. Okay? Now, significance of that is that it tells you that there are 48 ways to acquire the Torah. The Torah is 613. If you add 48 to the 613, you get to 661. Okay? So that I will not repeat in the name of anybody, because that is my own. I came up with that. And the next thing that I came up with is that lashon hara is also 661. So the same thing, lashon hara, lamed shin vav nun hey reish ayin, is 661. So, like everything else, you can use it for good, you can use it for bad. You can repeat things, and it brings the redemption to the world, and then you can repeat things lashon hara, which is bad. So I just want to finish with one other thing that it's different. We have a controversy right now in our community in Staten Island where I'm involved. I'm sort of the mediator there's a big conflict. There's another pizza shop that wants to open up. No, we're not talking about Ventnor. There's another pizza shop that wants to open up, and the board of rabbis are split on this. And, excuse me? No, he's not coming today. I'm sort of not that upset because we had this issue here in town. Now this issue is in Staten Island, and the rabbis are very split on this. And the person who owns the pizza shop now is very upset. He said he's there 25 years. The community is not big enough to support a second pizza shop. Of course, there's another faction that says that's the reason Staten Island hasn't grown because we haven't offered them choices. If we had more choices, more people would come. So there's more pizza shop will bring more people, which will bring more shuls, will bring more money. And so this thing is going back and forth. So I've sort of been nominated as the person to be mediating this whole controversy, and that's why I have to rush back to New York today.
Same area in Staten Island?
Yeah, it's like 4 blocks away. They want to open up another pizza shop. So here again, the concept, you see, in America we have a free enterprise system. And if you have a pizza shop, unless you can open up a pizza shop, in the same building, and the laws of the United States do not prohibit that. There are some people who have real estate, and they'll put a provision in their lease. I'll lease from you property. I want to open up a shoe store, provided you don't rent to another shoe store. That's something else. But the laws of the land encourages competition, and competition is good for business, and that's the free American enterprise system. However, that's against the Torah. In the Torah, we don't have that. We have called Isser HaSogas Gevul, where we have, excuse me?
You don't have it anymore.
So no, we do have the laws that you cannot encroach on somebody else's property, including his business, and we have to be very careful.
I'm talking, we don't have that for American law.
I'm saying, so the concept, the theme of today's thing is that there are laws of our land which are very democratic, but they're not necessarily in line with Torah views. Anyway, it's 8:00, so wish you all a good day. So I'm still in the middle of settling this, and I'm trying to work out. Actually, I have the menus in front of me, trying to work out. You can sell this, you can sell this. You close at 8:00. After 8, this other store is allowed to start selling pizza, and I'm trying to work out different ways of preparing the food. You bake it, you fry it, you dip it, you sprinkle it.
You eat it?
Yeah. What?
All settlements
Mendy,
are the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not about the money, it is about the money.
That's right. My old statement is, when somebody says it's not the money, it's the principle, it's the money. Okay.
So he's waiting for the offer.